I don't know about you, but there's something about watching a good math scene in a movie that makes me feel smarter for watching it for some reason. But here's one of my favorite math scenes that actually doesn't make me feel smarter and still confuses me, from the guilty pleasure of a movie called 21, directed by Robert Luketic.
Ben, suppose you're on a game show, and you are given a chance to choose from 3 different doors, all right? Now, behind one of the doors is a new car. Behind the other 2, goats. Which door would you choose, Ben?
Door number 1.
Door number 1. Ben chooses door number 1. All right, now, the game show host, who, by the way, knows what's behind all the other doors, decides to open another door. Let's say he chooses door number 3, behind which sits a goat. Now, Ben, game show host comes up to you and says, Ben, do you want to stay with door number 1 or go with door number 2? Now, is it in your interest to switch your choice?
It's called the game show host problem, even though the class is on non-linear equations and the question is all about probability and is actually called the Monty Hall problem. But let's put that aside for a second and I'll get to the explanation of the answer in a little bit. But I want to go back to the start of this scene because it's probably my favorite in the entire movie, as it's this kind of special moment. From a story point of view, this scene is essentially the inciting incident and hence why it's sort of the most interesting. This is the moment where something actually begins to happen in a movie. And suddenly I'm paying attention even more so than I was before. And here it's where our protagonist Ben Campbell is about to come across something, or rather someone, that is suddenly going to change everything in his life. Kevin Spacey's character, the professor, is that someone, and now you're paying even more attention to him because you can see that he must be a big deal for this story, because why else would the movie have someone like Kevin Spacey in it? But the best part about this scene is yet to come, because to me, the best part is all about the math that happens and what Ben actually has to say on it.
Is it in your interest to switch your choice?
Yeah.
Well, wait. Remember, the host knows where the car is, so how do you know he's not playing a trick on you, trying to use reverse psychology to get you to pick a goat?
Well, I wouldn't really care. I mean, my answer's based on statistics, based on variable change.
Variable change, but he just asked you a simple question.
Yeah, but she changed everything.
Enlighten us.
Well, when I was originally asked to choose a door, I had a 33.3% chance of choosing right. But after he opens one of the doors and then reoffers me the choice, it's now 66.7% if I choose to switch. So yeah, I'll take door number 2, and thank you for the extra 33.3%.
I don't know if it speaks to the nature of my own curiosity and interest in logical problems or with the field of math in general, but there's something about this particular situation and problem that Kevin Spacey outlines that always gets to me. I think it's first because it seems so simple enough that I get confused with how the scene eventually plays out and with what the real smartest answer to the solution is, which, as you'll see, is all about actually choosing to switch doors. It almost doesn't make sense, and I've gone back time and time to watch it on YouTube to read comments about why it actually does so. But I also think that's the charm of a math scene like this, and perhaps of all great math scenes in movies, is that it's all about realizing a counterintuitive truth that's been hidden in plain sight all along. Something that's simple enough to realize, but that is still cleverly tricky enough to fool most of the common crowd and popular belief. I love those kind of moments, and especially the ones where a character realizes something completely unexpected that changes everything. That eureka moment that just then suddenly makes everything so understandable. Like that scene from A Beautiful Mind where John Nash discovers the secret to game theory.
Adam Smith said, the best result comes from everyone in the group doing what's best for himself, right? That's what he said, that's right? Incomplete. Incomplete. Okay? Because the best result would come from everyone in the group doing what's best for himself and the group.
But here in 21, the protagonist Ben doesn't actually discover anything. If anything, it's Kevin Spacey who does the discovering when he realizes that he may now have found a new replacement for his card counting club. No, it's Ben that actually tells us something that he already knows, and he lays it out confidently, almost a bit arrogantly, when he mentions that even though the host asked a simple question, how he made a simple decision, it actually changes everything about the scenario. What's funny is that some time will pass and I'll see this scene again, but I'll also forget the logic behind why his answer makes sense, and then I'll end up revisiting it and reading more into why it does so, which again is the beauty of a scene like this. Because unlike Nash's game theory explanation, this 21 game show host problem is just somehow so tricky. How is it not simply a 50-50 choice after one door closes? How can simply not staying with the same door be as wise as switching to another one, and at the risk of losing what you originally selected via this reverse psychology? Now, if like me, you might still be wondering the answer to this, let's get to understanding the mathematical logic behind it, and hopefully this explanation helps. For starters, realize that there are only 3 different outcomes or worlds that can occur with whatever door you choose to begin with. And to explore this, let's say we choose door A, for instance, and we'll investigate what happens if we decide to switch after each time the host reveals a door. We know that a car lies behind one of the 3 doors. Therefore, it's either behind door A, B, or C. And if we choose A, then we've got a winner. But of course, we don't know that. But what is important is that the game show host knows that. He knows where everything is. And since he cannot open to reveal door A, from then on, he can only choose door B or door C. But when he does so, he removes that bad option. So now, if you switch, you lose. And that's outcome number 1. However, in outcome number 2, you choose door A again, but this time, the car is behind door B. Therefore, the host who again cannot open door A to reveal your option and cannot open door B to reveal the car is now forced to open door C. Again, he removes the bad option, but now if you switch, you win. And finally, with outcome number 3, you choose door A again, but this time the car is behind door C. The host cannot open door A and cannot open door C, so again, he is now forced to open door B, removing that last bad option from the equation. And if you can now see it, again, if you switch here, you win. Out of the 3 possible outcomes where the car has moved from door A to door B to door C, only 2 out of the 3 possible outcomes are winning situations. And that's the easiest way to understand it. And it doesn't matter if you started with door B or door C and repeated this whole process. Funnily enough, choosing the right door initially is actually the worst thing that can happen to you, because to actually win the game, you have to take the risk and make the switch.
Exactly. People, remember, if you don't know which door to open, always account for variable change. Now, see, most people wouldn't take the switch out of paranoia, fear, emotions, but Mr. Campbell, he kept emotions aside and let simple math get his ass into a brand new car, which is better than that goat you've been driving around campus. All right, everybody.